I wasn't in history.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming. I would like to get into the program, and maybe it would help Mari and the other speakers, Nicole also, to just take a real quick, let's go around the room, we're a pretty small group, just say who you are, who you work for, if you'd like, and why you came today, what you're hoping to get out of it. Is that comfortable for everyone? Okay, why don't we start with Mary? We'll start in the back and come up.
Hi, I'm Mary Dunn. I work for Phillips Ligholier. I've been going to these meetings for a number of years now, and I go to get new ideas and to share information as well.
Claudia Mullane from Julius, Koch, USA. This seems to be the HR corner down here. I think HR gets the responsibility for wellness programs typically, and I worked with this group right from the beginning, but then I had to kind of fall out because we've shrunk a great deal over the past few years and have to wear a lot of hats. So as a one-woman show at my company, it's great to get together with these folks and get some ideas about how to run my own wellness program.
I'm Julie Kelly. I work for Mass in Motion Fall River, the city of Fall River. And a few years ago, though, I was the wellness coordinator for 7 municipalities for 1 year. That lasted. But I am still in the elevator, often referred to as the wellness lady. The wellness lady. So, but I brought a few materials where Mass in Motion and wellness, employee wellness kind of come together. We have a staircase gallery that we put in at Government Center, 6 stories. Perfect opportunity to try and get people to use the stairs. Also, Bicycle Committee of Fall River and the Southcoast Bicycle Committee for, to make your employees aware of what health and wellness activities are going on in the community and that they can participate in. And also a wonderful piece by the St. Anne's Neighborhood Association called Couch to the 5K. And it's all about, getting people into training to be walking and then running so that they can actually participate in 5Ks as runners. So that outline is there, provided through their generosity.
So this year we had a theme, again, for our wellness conference, and it's Worksite Wellness. It's more than just nutrition and exercise. So those of you who are just starting out, I hope you're not disappointed that we're not going to emphasize a lot on those 2 things, because we usually, when you do your surveys of employees, usually the first things that people say they want some information about is they want to eat healthier or lose weight, biggest loser type of thing, and they want to be more active. They always want the gym on the premises, or they want to start a walking program or have some type of walking competition. Those are very critical, and they really help to form teams and give you goals individually and community-wise. But almost invariably, the next thing that comes out when you do employee interest surveys is that they need to deal with stress, whether the stress is from their work environment or their home environment. So we are going to focus a little bit more on that today. And before we get deeply into the stress thing, I think Mari's just going to talk about the bigger picture, and then we'll proceed on there, okay?
Good morning. I'm Mari Ryan. I'm CEO of Advancing Wellness, and I'm delighted to be here. I see some familiar faces, folks I've worked with over the last few years in the Mass Department of Public Health working on wellness program. I'm going to take this to a strategic level to start. So what we're going to talk about first is we're going to look at sort of where do you have to think about, and many times, so many of you are working in workplaces, is how do you make the business case for what your program is? Because I heard somebody say earlier, I did all these amazing things and they only had a budget of $2,000. Did I hear you say that? Yeah. So if we're going to do successful programs, we have to invest. Talk about some best practices, and then we'll take it a little bit lower to a tactical level about what do some of the programs look like and the kinds of things that you'll need to incorporate. So from a perspective of here many of you are human resource professionals. So here's some of the topics we're going to talk about, and we'll make this available, so don't worry about taking notes. Just sit back and relax and really get the theme of what we're talking about here. So are healthcare costs impacting your business? How many times do we hear this story? Things have actually gotten a little better in the last couple of years. I'm not hearing about the outrageous increases that were going on for a few years, but certainly this is a big issue in any business. After payroll, it's probably your next largest line item, certainly in your human resource budget it is. And then improving the productivity of your workforce. So are you getting what you're paying for in your payroll costs? Are people being as productive as they need to be? And then are the lifestyle choices of your employees hurting your company's bottom line? So that is really the productivity story. And are you really engaging people? Do you have an engaged workforce? And then finally, are employees' morale, does employees' morale need a boost? We've had a macro economy the last few years. It's put a lot of stress, we'll get to that, a lot of stress on people in the workplace and in general. So a lot of employees haven't changed jobs if they were unhappy. They're just staying where they are and being unhappy. So how can morale be impacted as well? So these are some of the issues, but the healthcare cost is the one we hear about all, but this has been helpful for you and give you a little broader view from a strategic perspective about how we need to be thinking about our worksite health promotion programs. So thanks.
Speakers is Nicole Champagne, who is up at UMass-L and doing some work around stress, health, worksite, all kinds of stuff. And she's been adding to her program, so I don't want to take
Do I
any
still
more
get
time.
45 minutes?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Phew.
Do you
Now, Mari is the seasoned professional, the polished presenter. I'm the teacher with all the paper. So it's a juxtaposition here. So bear with me. Definitely a teacher at heart. And if you can you hear me?
Yeah.
Teacher, big mouth. It all happens for me. I'm very at home here, actually. I used to teach swimming at the Y in New Bedford. My mom retired from Southcoast. She was a nurse in occupational and employee health at St. Louis, north of Boston, and also the EAP. We've worked with some EAPs, and they really want to get out of the business of that individual employee and start to really get back into the culture of the workplace and working with leadership to try to create cultures and environments within the workplace so fewer of those individuals get to that place where they need to utilize EAP services. So that was another connection for me. And other folks mentioned the word integration, which I think is really important to this work. And the project I'm going to describe in a moment says that. We have HR folks. Well, guess what? The HR folks have to work with the worksite wellness folks and the state programs that are out there to help support community-based health promotion. Occupational health with health promotion. I mean, these are all things that need to happen. And we were talking earlier, I think we've acculturated ourselves to kind of work in silos. But that does not work in this business. We really need to reach out. Even if our primary mission is to work on diabetes, that's great, but guess what? There are other folks that you're going to need to interact with and collaborate with to actually make some impact. So my presentation is entitled Beyond Breathing. And the reason for that is we're going to talk about things that are a little different than the typical, well, let's pull out the yoga mat at noon and, all deep breathe. We're going to talk about some other ways to control these workplace stressors, which is part of this comprehensive program. The other thing, just to kind of end here, is our project has also developed a lot of tools. I think the first important thing, if you want to address stress in your workplace, you better assess stress in your workplace. And we've developed some tools that can help you to do that, whether it's through a survey or focus groups or individual interviews with people who are in key roles within the organization to really get their take on what stressors are manifest in that workplace that have an effect on employee health and wellness. So I have a bunch of cards here if you'd be interested in partnering with us or just getting more information. Our website's great. We have a mailing list. You can sort of become more connected to what CPH New is up to.
Okay.
Paper's over.
A quick bathroom break, which this is the time for that. We will then, I think,
Bring hands on your belly. Now when you breathe in, I want your hands to expand out. I don't want your chest to expand out. I want your hands. So it's called deep belly breathing. So you breathe in and you go. And then when you breathe out, constrict your ab muscles and force the air out. So now if you want to, you can come up and around and you can rotate and look behind you. And it's going to carry from your shoulder down through your lats, which is down through here, even into the hip. And then you can reach around behind and rotate the torso. Look. And go once more. Breathe.
There you go. Yep.
They're supposed to like lift their head back.
Yep, you're supposed to check that they're not choking.
Wow, this thing is cool.
It's cool too because what I brought here today also is 2 other components to the walking program and the wellness program that the Heart Association offers. And actually, tomorrow, if you're interested, we'll be over at Heritage State Park here in Fall River, kicking off their walking path at the Heritage State Park, which is becoming an official American Heart Association walking path. And so we're doing that. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll be actually walking the 2-mile or the 3.5-mile walk at Colt State Park. So if you're interested, you can take a packet and you can sign up online, or you can fill out that form, or just let me know if you're interested. This is Katie Gilfeather from Outlook EAP Employee Assistance Program in New Bedford, Mass. Some of you may have worked with her before. I know our organization has. And she has actually been a guest speaker at a monthly meeting for the collaborative. And her information is definitely, when we think about employee assistance, it's not just getting that troubled employee, into a, somebody that can, talk to them, but a lot of times it's dealing with other issues, whether there's crises that happen at work, whether there's, whether people are just feeling financially crunched. And so I think that she has a lot of great resources and insights into our topic today.
Yeah,
so thank you, Katie.
Thanks for having me, Julie.
I'm a paper person too, it's just of my age. Who has stress? Okay, who doesn't have stress? No, not good. The day you don't have stress is the day you're dead. We're not talking about stress as being a negative thing. I think when you say, no, I don't have stress, what you're really saying is I'm not in distress. But you have stress, and stress is a vital part of how you had to get stressed to get out of here this morning, get out of bed and get dressed and get here, right? That's stress. And often when we're giving talks about stress, I always start from the standpoint, this is the basic kind of overview. So what is stress? Dr. Hanselye is the grandfather of stress. He had the Stress Institute in Montreal and studied stress. Stress is the body's non-specific response to any demand that's being placed on it, whether or not that demand is. So we're not talking about just bad things that happen in our lives stressing us out. We're talking about change. And change is going on all around us, which really, it's not that change is going on all around us that's the problem. It's that we expect it to be otherwise. We don't like change. We're creatures of habit. We do not get out of bed in the morning and say, what can I do today to make sure things change? We say, how can I keep things the same? Personally, I say any one of you in this room, including myself, can use an EAP at any time. If you want something that's good to get better, you get a coach. And that's really what we're trying to do, is change the image of our service into being solution-focused, life improvement, life enhancement, and away from this whole area of problem focus. We'll always have problems, but we really want to outreach people where we know that we can make a big difference. So thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Katie. That was excellent. And I think it just fits into, like, we're looking at wellness as a way to be a little bit more proactive and be preventative, and you've given us some great ideas of how you can help. The next topic with Alan Freitas from Priority Management, because I think that we know that part of the stress that we live within is created by our physical surroundings. So whether they are the physical inbox that some of us might still have on our desk, or just the inbox, the electronic inbox that's getting bombarded, it could, we're all getting swamped with staying on top of things. So I'm not going to say any more because I know that Alan.
Morning. Energy over here.
As Katie mentioned, I'm a genius. But I don't know what you are. All right? But I got a way to find out what you are. We're going to talk about time management versus stress here. And so I can find out who you are, we've developed a little bit of a diagnostic. What I would like you to do is to identify with one of these geometric shapes, square, triangle, hexagon, or circle, as the one that represents your personality type, without any explanation. In other words, if somebody would ask you, what kind of person are you? And you had to respond with one of those geometric shapes, would you say, I'm a square, I'm a triangle, or I'm a hexagon, or I'm a circle? Think about that for a moment. Now, raise your hand if you would respond that you're a square. We got two, okay? And how about triangle? How many triangles are there? No triangles. How many hexagons? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 hexagons. How many circles? Whoa, a lot of circles.
I know better than.
All right, squares, raise your hands. Okay, the people who answered square, we don't know why this works, by the way, but it just does. He's a genius. That's right. When people who respond with a square are typically very intellectual, objective, rational, and good decision makers. So there's only a couple of you in the room here today who are very intellectual and all that. Right. Triangles, there were no triangles, so there was no people who are steady, dependable, conservative, and have enormous perseverance. None of you guys. We had a bunch of hexagons. Raise your hands, hexagons. Look around and see who the hexagons are. Hexagons are dissatisfied with the status quo, believe in no-nonsense behavior, and tend to be risk takers.
That's right.
Absolutely. She's got it. And circles, room full of circles here. Raise your hands. Look around. See who the circles are. People who respond to circles as being their personality type are strongly preoccupied with sex.
Okay.
Let me business card. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, put a number 1 on it. Leave it on the table there, and I'll grab them up and I'll be in contact with you. If you're not interested in that, if you would be interested in weekly productivity pointers that I send out, put a 2 on there. We won't bother you other than send you the pointers. And if you don't want me to send you anything, you can share the card and forget that we ever met, just put a 3 on it. Hey, you guys did great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, right.